Ladies and gentle bitches, so I decided to finally make a video on how to severely improve your acoustic guitar if you don't have an electric but you just love the feeling of playing on an electric, and how to get your acoustic as close as possible to playing like an electric. I already covered some of the things that I did to this guitar, but just in case, I want to walk you through all of the things that you can do to improve your acoustic playing experience, right? So this is a Fender guitar. It's not mine, it's my friend's, Gabriel the Cactus guy. And yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll feel offended because I'm such a huge name on YouTube. You should have already watched all my videos in the past and know all my story references and whatnot. But yeah, so going into the thing, literally, one of the things most people complain about, including myself, is the action on an acoustic guitar. So what you want to do is obviously try to lower it. So first thing first, just take your strings off, and if you can do this, or if you know how to do it, or if you have the ability or the budget or whatever, I would highly suggest first checking your frets and make sure they're plain and level, because what happens is frets on an acoustic guitar usually tend to be very uneven because the action being so high, it kind of tends to mask this aspect. And let's be honest, probably most of you are playing on cheap acoustic guitars. This one is very cheap in the sense that it's affordable, but for whatever reason they have super high quality, and I didn't need to level the frets at all. But usually you might need to do this, and it doesn't make sense trying to lower your action, because when you lower the action, if you haven't corrected your frets and they're uneven, you'll just all of a sudden discover that you have unmasked the problem with your frets being uneven, and B, you cannot use this low action and you work for so long for nothing, because now you need to rise it back up because the guitar became unplayable with dead notes and fretting spots and buzzing spots on the frets and whatever. So first things first, check your frets if they're plain, and if they're not, just have them adjusted. Second thing is check your nut. Again, as funny as it sounds, check that you don't have an unnecessary action because of the nut. This means that your slots inside the nut should be at the same height as the rest of the frets, because they should act as the 0 fret, as the first ever fret. So having your nut higher, the nut slots higher than all of the other frets, is just something stupid. No matter how many people argue that it gives you leeway to press down on the chords, it's stupid. Imagine what happens when you put a capo on, or when you're playing higher on the fretboard. You take the nut out of the equation and there's no problem, right? So you should make sure that the nut behaves correctly like any other fret. So that's step number 2. Obviously, as a side thing, you should make sure that the tuning pegs are nice and working and loose, but not too loose, tight but not too tight. They have a nice action. The gear ratio is good. They're lubricated. They don't slip. They don't hold resistance unnecessarily, and they're just overall in good condition. But for the action problem, going back to it, like I said, first the frets, second the nut slots, and now obviously, again, as a side note, you should have done all of these things with a correctly adjusted truss rod. So you have to make sure that your neck is not curved like this, or on the opposite side, not having a front bow or a back bow. Now everyone will say, well, you have to have a small front bow. Completely incorrect, but I won't even make this video a stupidly long video explaining to you why. If, however, you're not one of the haters who already knows it all and doesn't even care to hear why, if you're really genuinely interested in why the neck should be perfect and not just for an acoustic guitar, please let's have this clear for any type of guitar. I don't care what it is. The neck should always be flush, like perfectly flat, dead on. If you really want to know why this is the case and you don't need that slight front bow, leave a comment down below and I will either reply or I'll make a separate video explaining all the ins and outs of it. So that being said, again, all of these adjustments should be done with a correctly set neck, correctly being perfectly flush. I can't stress this enough. The last remaining thing would then be, well, first to check that there's no lift on your bridge, which happens on a lot of guitars due to the tension. If the bridge was poorly attached to the top of the body, it'll start going up at an angle to a point where you can actually put a pick below. I'm not recommending you to do this, but I'm just saying, and eventually it will just snap and hit you with many pounds of force. So if this is still attached to the body correctly, you can then proceed to lower your saddle to the minimum possible, as to first of all not risk having the action too low and not be able to play, because now the string is really touching all of your frets in a uniform way. And also you don't want to make this low to the point where you're actually risking your string having a resting point right here on this ledge right here. I know it's a little dark, but I think you get my point. You don't want to have your contact point for the string move from here to this other virtually created point, because when you do this, you're completely messing your intonation, because your string length just modifies from having it all the way from here to here is gonna be actually here, resting against your bridge instead of the plastic or bone saddle that you have. So if all of these things are done correctly, you should really have a super low action on your acoustic, and you can benefit from playing it just as well as any other electric guitar, correctly set up electric guitars, because I've seen thousands of electric guitars with the action like this, like mile high, which I won't even go into right now. So if you like this, go ahead, do it. Just hit your strings a bit lighter, because by the nature and construction of an acoustic guitar, if you have like electric grade action on your acoustic, you might have some slight buzzing here and there, especially when you're like hitting the guitar super loud, this is super hard and it's super loud. You might have some inherent fret buzzing, but just choose a softer pick, pick slightly more gentle, and you won't compromise none of the tone, and you'll still be playing like a beast. Also, if you want to, you can put a set of electric guitar strings so that you have a plain G instead of a wound one. You can bend, you can do all these things. Obviously, you'll be losing a bit of the tone, because the acoustic strings have a specific characteristic to their sound. You'll be losing it, but not too much, because still electric guitars sound similar enough so that you do not lose too much of that acoustic tone and the nice vibrating the nice vibrations coming from the resonance cavity will compensate so that you can keep that acoustic tone to your guitar. So that being said, please let me know if you need any additional explanations down below in the comment sections, and just feel free, hit that like or dislike button, share, subscribe, unsubscribe, leave some hate comments or whatever, or just ask for more stupidly helpful advice if you feel that is the case. Till next time, I'm out, Betsy. Bye-bye.